And it's lights out and away we go. Max Verstappen gets away well from Charles Leclerc, and already George Russell is alongside Carlos Sainz. Into turn one we go. It's Verstappen from Leclerc. Sainz goes off the track. Russell goes through. Sainz.
Hi F1 fans. Welcome to Formula Pun Racer. Today is July 16th, 2022. And today I give you my review on the Austrian GP, which took place back on the 10th of July at the Red Bull Ring. That day, the hills were certainly alive with the sound of F1 racing and the hope, with Red Bull being based in Austria, that their team would take top honors. It would turn out that it seemed like that from the beginning, with their driver, Max Verstappen of the Netherlands, on pole, and the Ferraris of Leclerc and Sainz starting second and third, and Mercedes driver George Russell starting fourth. When the lights went out, red lights that is, Verstappen took it to the max to lead the field into the first corner, and while a few turns in on the first lap, it seemed that Max was getting away cleanly and the Italian thoroughbreds of the two Chucks were on his tail. It went unfortunately wrong for the Red Bull driver Sergio Perez of Mexico when he collided with George Russell, out of contention for the win, but not out of the race.
Leaping legends!
As a result of the collision between George Russell and Sergio Perez, George Russell endured a 5-second penalty, but still managed to maintain a good position to finish where he started, pretty much 4th place. 11 laps later, in the same spot where Perez and Russell collided, Charles Leclerc drag raced Max Verstappen into that corner to take the lead for the first time in the race. A lap or two later, Carlos Sainz got by Max to give the Ferrari a 1-2 lead! By lap 30, Max Verstappen got the lead back when the Ferraris cycled in for their pits, and it seemed like it was going to be a 1-2 Ferrari finish, with Leclerc leading and Carlos Sainz second and Max Verstappen a distant third. Unfortunately, Carlos Sainz's thoroughbred ended up with a quitting engine, which set the car on fire, and that car became thorough toast. It is unfortunate that for the Aston Martin F1 racing team, it was a very frustrating racing weekend they'd like to forget, considering its driver, Sebastian Vettel of Germany, went into the race as a representative of a campaign to help preserve the bee population around the world, which has been diminishing, and that's kind of scary, especially since the food supplies around the world depend on them for a lot of things. So much so that to support this campaign, Sebastian Vettel donned an interesting helmet for the race. You could see it created quite a buzz, and if he had finished in the points, it would be a honey of a victory for the team. Unfortunately, as you can imagine, the team got stung with bad results, especially Pierre Gasly pitting Sebastian Vettel into the gravel trap. At least he was able to continue on, but a race that Aston Martin would like to forget.
A 5-second penalty for Pierre Gasly for causing that collision with Sebastian Vettel.
When the checkered flag finally waved, it was Charles Leclerc Ferrari bringing the Italian stallion its first Austrian Grand Prix win since 2003. Max Verstappen finished second. Lewis Hamilton of Mercedes finally finished third. Another podium finish for the young Brit. As a result, Max Verstappen's lead over Leclerc is now just 38 points. And with Ferrari taking 7 points over Red Bull, their 63-point deficit in the F1 race has gone down to this amount after Austria. Bellissimo Ferrari for taking your 4th race win of the season. Could this be a tipping point in Ferrari's chances of getting back the Constructors' Championship lead? And can Leclerc get the Drivers' Championship lead as well over Max Verstappen? With 11 rounds left in the season, anything's possible. Congratulations also to Haas driver Mick Schumacher for getting points for the 2nd time in a row. His first points finish ever was the previous round in Great Britain at Silverstone, where he finished 8th, getting 4 points. In Austria, he finished 6th, so he got 8 points for a total of 12 so far. And as a bonus, his Danish butter cookie teammate Kevin Magnussen finished 8th, so double points finish for Haas. Congratulations. In Indycar news, there has been recent talks that both Ganassi and Arrow McLaren Schmidt Peterson claim ownership that Spanish driver Alex Palou is going to drive for one or the other, which so far the dust hasn't been settled yet, so this is quite debatable. And so, at the same time, will Alex Palou stay with Chip Ganassi in IndyCars in 2023, or will he go to McLaren? But they didn't exactly say Arrow Schmidt Peterson McLaren, because there have been talks or rumors that he might actually go race for McLaren somewhere else. Is it Formula E or Formula One? If that's the case, there are talks that Daniel Ricciardo of Australia, who presently drives for McLaren, could be on his way out. But I wouldn't take all this lightly. I take all this with a grain of sand or salt, if you ask me, because at this point, I don't know what's true, because I'm just going to wait about before everything cools down to see the truth results. But it's got to be cuckoo trying to wrap your mind in all this. And I'll leave a link to an article where all this is coming from Racer.com, where you can read more into what's going on in the dispute between McLaren and Ganassi over ownership of the Spanish driver Alex Palou, who will still be racing for Chip Ganassi this weekend as the IndyCars return to Toronto, Canada for the first time since 2019 when the COVID hit. And there's one thing else I got to admit about it. Now, what I have to admit is going to suck for some of us IndyCar fans, because the next IndyCar round, which is going to be in Toronto, Canada for the first time since 2019, this Sunday, July 17th, is unfortunately not going to be on NBC, but on the cock, as David Land on YouTube once said. In other words, unless you have a subscription to Peacock, you're not going to have any luck in watching the IndyCar round in Toronto. It is returning to the streets of Toronto for the first time since 2019, before COVID hit. Just like last month, F1 returned to Canada for the first time since 2019 in Montreal, while the IndyCars race once again on the sweeping street of Lakeshore Boulevard over 140 miles per hour in Toronto. So, no doubt about it, for all the fans of IndyCars, especially the Canadians, we're going to be in for some exciting racing this weekend, eh? Well, that concludes my video review of the Austrian GP, and to let you know when IndyCar start up again, and it is in Canada, eh? On July 17th. As for F1, they start up again a week later in Vive la France, which is at the Paul Ricard circuit. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you like my videos, please share with your friends, get them to subscribe, and be sure to hit the notification bell for future videos if you want to. And let's see how the IndyCars do in Toronto this Sunday, and how F1 fares in France the following weekend. See you in the next video, everyone. I'm Aaron Cylinder, firing on all cylinders.
La la di do di do,